The Young and the Restless spoilers Phyllis's shocking dismissal, Billy's betrayal and the fallout in a move that has set shockwaves through The Young and the Restless. Billy Abbott has made a decision that will forever change his relationship with Phyllis Summers. After weeks of mounting tension, Billy made the bold, yet ruthless, move of firing Phyllis from her position at Abbott Communications, a company that she helped build from the ground up. The reason? Billy claimed Phyllis was too distracted by personal matters, particularly her obsessive focus on securing a position for her son, Daniel Romalotti Jr., instead of prioritizing the company's interests. What makes this decision so shocking isn't just the firing itself, but how it was handled. Billy, known for his impulsive and often questionable business decisions, replaced Phyllis with Sally Spectra, someone with far fewer ties to Abbott Communications, at a speed that was almost too quick to process. In one fell swoop, Phyllis went from being a key figure in the company's rise to being discarded like yesterday's news, replaced by someone who, frankly, is seen as a corporate outsider. The speed with which Sally stepped into Phyllis's shoes only added insult to injury, making it clear that Billy wasn't just making a business decision, he was sending a pointed message. The public humiliation. Phyllis's bitter exit, what should have been a routine business decision, turned into a deeply personal humiliation for Phyllis. As witnesses at the Genoa City Athletic Club, GCAC, described, the scene of her firing was anything but professional. Phyllis, already a polarizing figure, was publicly humiliated in front of colleagues and associates. Her exit wasn't just about losing a job. It was a public display of her worthlessness in Billy's eyes, a decision that played out like a slap in the face. The way Phyllis was dismissed only made the betrayal feel that much sharper, as it wasn't just about business, it was about stripping away her dignity in front of everyone she had worked alongside for years. Phyllis's firing at the hands of Billy, someone she once loved and worked alongside in a close-knit professional relationship, could not have been more devastating. This wasn't a quiet dismissal or a private conversation behind closed doors, it was done in the public eye, with all the emotion and pain of a personal betrayal wrapped up in the business world. Billy's justification, a poor excuse or a thin veil for deeper motives? Billy's justification for firing Phyllis was as thin as it was convenient. He claimed that Phyllis was too consumed with her efforts to secure a future for Daniel at Abbott Communications to be effective in her role. Sure, Phyllis's relationship with her son has been a consistent point of tension, especially considering her insistence on trying to shape his career. But let's not kid ourselves, Billy's reasoning is a smokescreen for something deeper. Anyone who's watched Billy make decisions at Abbott Communications knows that this is far from the worst move he's ever made. In fact, it's downright tame compared to some of his previous blunders. Billy's track record of poor business choices, be it in love, work, or personal life, has been well documented, and firing Phyllis now seems to serve more of a personal vendetta than a strategic business decision. It's hard not to question whether Billy's true motivation for firing Phyllis has less to do with her so-called distractions and more to do with his own frustration with her and their complicated history. After all, Phyllis has never been one to shy away from speaking her mind, and her refusal to back down has often clashed with Billy's own whims. Could this be an act of retribution? A way for Billy to regain control over a situation that has spiraled out of his grasp? The answer is likely somewhere in between, as Billy's decision to fire Phyllis feels less like a business move and more like a personal power play. Sally Spectra's sudden promotion, a new era at Abbott Communications? And then, of course, there's Sally Spectra. The timing of her hiring is suspect, to say the least. In one fell swoop, Billy replaces Phyllis with Sally, someone who, while talented, has little history or loyalty to Abbott Communications. Billy's decision to appoint Sally as Phyllis's successor raises more questions than answers. Is Sally really the best person for the job, or is she simply the new face Billy wants by his side to usher in a new era at Abbott Communications? Sally's promotion isn't just about business acumen, it's also about Billy's personal agenda. The two have a complicated past, and now, as they team up professionally, it's clear that Billy sees Sally as someone he can control or manipulate in a way he couldn't with Phyllis. Whether or not Sally is truly qualified to take on such a significant role is irrelevant. What matters is the symbolism of the shift. Billy is aligning himself with someone who isn't bogged down by the past, someone who won't challenge him the way Phyllis did. This power dynamic sets the stage for a new set of conflicts at Abbott Communications, as Sally's rise to the top may come with its own set of consequences. Phyllis's emotional fallout, a mother's desperation and a spiraling obsession. While Billy may see his decision as a necessary business move, Phyllis is left reeling. She has already endured so much. Betrayal, heartbreak, and personal loss, and this firing may be the final straw that sends her spiraling. Instead of focusing on her own healing and moving forward, Phyllis becomes obsessed with her son Daniel, whom she views as the only one left in her life who can give her purpose. Phyllis's obsession with Daniel is reaching unhealthy levels. She's unable to accept his desire for distance, continually pushing herself into his life and making his problems her own. Daniel, for his part, has made it clear that he doesn't need Phyllis's constant interference, but she refuses to back off. Her need to control her son's life, coupled with the emotional devastation of losing her job and status, could lead Phyllis down a dangerous path of emotional collapse. Conclusion: the ripple effect of Billy's decision to fire Phyllis has set off a chain reaction that will affect everyone in Genoa City. The personal and professional fallout from this betrayal will reverberate through the Abbott family and beyond. Phyllis, once a cornerstone of Abbott Communications, now finds herself in a desperate, emotional state, her life upended by the man she once loved and worked with. As she tries to regain control over her own life, the stakes for her and her family have never been higher. Sally's rise to the top at Abbott Communications promises to bring its own drama, and Phyllis's obsession with Daniel will create more tension within her family. Meanwhile, Billy, caught in the middle of it all, will have to confront the consequences of his actions as he navigates his complicated relationships with those around him. As the drama unfolds, fans can expect even more twists, turns, and betrayals that will leave them wondering just how far these characters are willing to go to protect their own interests. The Young and the Restless has never been short on intrigue, and with Phyllis now out of the picture at Abbott Communications, it's clear that the drama is far from over. Phyllis's unexpected return. A cold reality check for Billy and Sally as the festivities at Abbott Communications continue, with Billy and Sally celebrating their new positions. Their smiles are as bright as the champagne they're toasting to. Fresh from her resignation at Marchetti, Sally Spectra has barely had time to settle into her new role when she's met with a rude awakening. Phyllis Summers is at the door, ready to disrupt their celebration. The moment Phyllis enters, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The warmth of the moment vanishes, replaced by an icy chill. It's almost as if the temperature drops, with the air thick with tension. The once lively conversation falls into an uncomfortable silence as Phyllis delivers her signature brand of harsh truth. With venom in her voice, Phyllis doesn't waste any time with pleasantries. She immediately questions Sally's true motives. "Do you really think this gold digger cares about the company?" Phyllis spits out, her words laced with years of accumulated resentment. This jab cuts deep, as Phyllis is no stranger to seeing people take advantage of others for their personal gain, and she's not about to let Sally get away with it without calling her out. But Phyllis isn't done yet. She's only warming up, and she makes sure Billy feels the sting of her criticism too. "First Adam, now me, how long until she's just another corpse in your company graveyard?" Phyllis sneers, her words dripping with disdain. The reference to Billy's history with Adam Newman strikes at the heart of his professional and personal failures. It's an unforgiving reminder of Billy's tendency to use people, work with them until they're no longer useful, and then discard them. This has been Billy's modus operandi for years, using people as pawns, advancing his own agenda, and then casting them aside when they no longer fit into his plan. Phyllis's words hit home, bringing up a painful truth that Billy has never truly faced. Billy's deflection: will he address the truth or defend his actions? Billy's immediate reaction is one of defensiveness. As Phyllis throws these accusations in his face, he can't help but be caught off guard. He's used to his actions being questioned, but Phyllis has a way of cutting to the core of things, and her words stir something in him that he'd rather not acknowledge. He knows deep down that she's right about his tendency to discard people when they no longer serve his purposes. However, Billy is no stranger to deflecting and redirecting blame. He could easily turn this back on Phyllis, accusing her of being bitter and unable to move on from the past. He could even claim that he's just doing what's best for Abbott Communications. After all, in his mind, everything he does is for the company. But the more he tries to explain himself, the more he risks exposing the truth about his own motivations. And the truth is, he's often willing to compromise his relationships with others to secure his own position. Sally's position, caught between Billy and Phyllis. Meanwhile, Sally is stuck in the middle of this heated confrontation. She's just begun to settle into her new role at Abbott Communications, but Phyllis's sudden arrival has put her in a precarious position. Sally, who has already faced challenges in her professional life, doesn't want to be painted with the same brush that Phyllis is using to critique Billy. But Phyllis's sharp words make it clear that Sally's position is tenuous at best. Is Sally truly here for the company's future, or is she just another person who Billy will discard when the time comes? The questions are now hanging in the air, and Sally may find herself having to prove her loyalty, not just to Billy, but to herself. Sally's relationship with Billy is already complicated, and now Phyllis's arrival threatens to make things even messier. As she watches Billy and Phyllis clash, Sally is forced to confront her own feelings about working with Billy and what that means for her future. Does she really want to be a part of a company where loyalty is so easily discarded? Or will she find herself in the same position as the others who have been cast aside before her? Phyllis's emotional stakes. More than just a business battle for Phyllis, this confrontation is about more than just business. It's about her deep sense of betrayal and her need to protect her son, Daniel Romalotti Jr. The history she has with Billy, Adam, and the Newman family is fraught with emotional baggage. Phyllis isn't just angry because she lost her job, she's furious because she's watching a familiar pattern repeat itself. Billy's actions, no matter how well justified in his mind, remind Phyllis of the people she's lost and the ways she's been hurt. Her critique of Billy and Sally isn't just professional, it's personal. Phyllis's frustration is also tied to her inability to control the narrative. She's spent years trying to build and maintain her place in the business world, only to watch as people like Billy and Adam manipulate situations for their own gain. The sting of being replaced so quickly by someone like Sally, who hasn't earned the same trust or history, is a bitter pill for Phyllis to swallow. In her eyes, it's yet another example of how people like her, people who have worked tirelessly to create something, are so easily discarded when they're no longer needed. The fallout: how will Billy and Sally react to Phyllis's accusations? As the dust settles from Phyllis's fiery accusations, the aftermath will be felt throughout Genoa City. Billy and Sally may try to brush this off as just another one of Phyllis's tirades, but the truth is, Phyllis has hit a nerve. The tension between the trio is palpable, and the power dynamics within Abbott Communications are shifting. Phyllis's words may be harsh, but they are not unfounded. She's called attention to the reality of the situation, the fact that Billy has a long history of using people and discarding them when it's convenient. This truth, no matter how uncomfortable, could have lasting implications for everyone involved. Billy and Sally will have to grapple with their own feelings about Phyllis's accusations. Will they ignore them and continue on their current path, or will they be forced to face the reality of how they've been treating the people around them? Phyllis's fiery confrontation may have been just the wake-up call they needed, or it may send them even further down a path of betrayal and deceit. Conclusion: the power struggle at Abbott Communications. Phyllis's unannounced return to Abbott Communications has set the stage for a power struggle that will impact everyone involved. As Billy and Sally continue to climb the ranks, Phyllis's bitterness and anger will continue to simmer, threatening to expose the cracks in their carefully constructed facades. The dynamic between these three characters is far from settled, and as they navigate their personal and professional relationships, it's clear that no one is immune from the fallout. The battle for control and loyalty at Abbott Communications is just beginning, and the consequences of Billy's actions could resonate far beyond the boardroom. What makes Phyllis's confrontation with Billy and Sally truly explosive isn't just the anger in her words. It's the transformation of Phyllis from a wounded ex-lover into a calculated and dangerous adversary. Phyllis is no longer the heartbroken woman left behind. She is now a woman with a purpose, driven by strategy and the promise of retribution. This isn't just an emotional outburst, it's Phyllis Summers in full revenge mode. Phyllis has spent years at Abbott Communications, helping to build it from the ground up. She knows where all the bodies are buried, figuratively speaking, of course. And her intimate knowledge of the company, its inner workings, and the weaknesses of everyone involved gives her a significant advantage. She knows how Billy operates, what buttons to push, and most importantly, she knows exactly how to make him and Sally pay for the betrayal she's just endured. When Phyllis says, "You will regret this, and I'll make sure Sally regrets it too," it's not an empty threat. It's a declaration of war from someone who has the tools to back it up. She's not just upset about losing her job, she's plotting her next move, knowing that the stakes are much higher than simple revenge. This isn't about reclaiming her position at Abbott Communications, it's about making Billy and Sally regret their decision, using everything Phyllis knows to her advantage. Phyllis's deep knowledge, a weapon in her arsenal. Phyllis's deep understanding of Abbott Communications is her greatest weapon. She's been in the trenches, worked alongside Billy, and helped shape the company into what it is today. But more importantly, she knows every flaw, every weakness, and every secret hiding in the corners of Abbott Communications. She understands the intricacies of the company's operations, its financial pressures, and most notably, the personal vulnerabilities of those who run it. Phyllis's knowledge of Billy is particularly dangerous. She knows his past, his insecurities, and how far he's willing to go to protect his image. Her strategic mind has always been her strength, and now that she's in a position to exact her revenge, she's more than capable of using her insider knowledge to destabilize him. She knows how to hit him where it hurts, whether it's using his mistakes in business or exposing his emotional weaknesses. As for Sally, Phyllis's warning is just as pointed. Sally, the new face at Abbott Communications, may have thought she was secure in her position, but Phyllis's threat makes it clear that she's not as untouchable as she might believe. Phyllis knows exactly what Sally's weaknesses are, and she has the power to exploit them. The game has changed, and Phyllis is no longer the woman on the outside looking in, she's the one with the leverage, and she's prepared to use it. The moment of realization. Sally's unease. One of the most telling moments in this confrontation occurs after Phyllis storms out of the room. Sally, usually composed and confident, turns to Billy with a whisper, "She knows everything." Those 3 words carry so much weight. Sally's calm exterior falters for a moment, and in that brief exchange, the true gravity of Phyllis's words sinks in. It's a moment of realization. Sally knows Phyllis isn't just blowing smoke. Phyllis knows the company's darkest secrets, and she's not afraid to use them against them. This shift in Sally's demeanor is crucial. While she's been a formidable force in her own right, the possibility that Phyllis has something on her, something that could unravel her newfound position, puts Sally on edge. It's one thing to fight Phyllis emotionally, but it's another to be exposed as a pawn in someone else's game. Sally, who prides herself on her ambition and success, now faces the possibility that all of it could come crashing down if Phyllis decides to strike. This moment sets the stage for a power struggle between Sally and Phyllis, with Billy caught in the middle. The road to revenge, Phyllis's multi-layered plan. Phyllis isn't one to take action without careful planning. Her approach to revenge will be calculated and multi-layered, with each move designed to break Billy and Sally down in ways they don't expect. Given her insider knowledge, Phyllis will likely start by targeting Abbott Communications itself, exploiting the company's weaknesses and turning its successes into failures. Her first step could involve creating chaos within the company. Phyllis has always been adept at finding the cracks in any operation, and she'll likely exploit those cracks to undermine the stability Billy and Sally have worked so hard to build. Whether it's manipulating the company's finances, exposing hidden conflicts of interest, or revealing personal secrets that would damage Billy's reputation, Phyllis has the tools to make their lives difficult. Another layer of Phyllis's plan could involve working behind the scenes to disrupt Sally's career. Sally, eager to prove herself and secure her place at Abbott Communications, may find herself facing challenges she didn't anticipate. Phyllis could use her influence to create obstacles for Sally, whether through sabotage or by subtly turning key allies against her. Sally's newfound position is precarious, and Phyllis knows exactly how to exploit that vulnerability.